Hello, everyone. You are all welcome to Integrated Revenue and Retention Podcast. For today is a day that the Lord has made for you to rejoice and also to receive your transformational benefits. If you have not received your benefit yet, stay tuned for this podcast. I'm Dr. John Osarere, a chaplain, consultant, technology and business advisor. In today's episode, I will be speaking on closing sales gap with personal and proactive experience. This podcast is for you. As long as you have a story and a message to share to the world. There is always one problem that exists that can hinder the free flow of sales, and that is sales gap. But in today's episode, we shall be able to understand how to combat and close sales gap. There are some objectives that we shall be highlighting today, and the objectives are as follows. Number one, the definition of a sales gap. Number two, how to measure sales gap. Number three, how to control the data and the measurement of sales gap. Number four, how to close the sales gap. And number five, which is very key, how to enjoy your transformational benefits. It's true that the problem of the day is all about sales. When it comes to the business owner, it is sales. When it comes to service professionals, it's sales. When it comes to entrepreneurs, it is sales. But at the same time, there is a gap that exists. This gap can be defined in time, in terms of the task, in terms of the target, in terms of the truth. As it concerns your employees, as it concerns your customers. Let's try actually to define this sales gap in the best way that everyone listening to the sound of my voice can understand it. It is the difference between your unique value and the perception by your customers. Very simple. There is a gap that exists that can cause friction, that can cause even business failure. And that same gap can also be bridged and closed in such a way that you can maximize your revenue and retention, both of your customers and also of your revenue, that you can use and accrue, compound to become legacy wealth. If you are listening to my voice today, you need to catch this, that it is so critical that in today's world, the digital customer is well informed, and the digital customer is demanding from every employer an added value in terms of time and the money they spend. If you can do this just by bridging and closing this sales gap, you will be able to maximize your revenue. You will be able to maximize your impact and your income. Having understood the definition, you also need to know how your customers really perceive your business and your unique value proposition. That message that you are sharing to the world needs to be understood by you, and there should be no gap. And if there is any gap, it should be minimized on daily basis, so that you can always enjoy your transformational benefits. You also need to understand how this gap can be measured. You can measure this gap with the help of an integration strategy. And once it is measured, you will also be able to prioritize which factor really affects your sales, which is the number one goal that you need to pursue on daily basis, which is your number one parameter in business, because there are so many softwares, there are so many strategies in terms of your marketing, your sales, that if you are not able to measure this gap, it can confuse you. It can get you stuck. For a lot of business owners today are stuck also in the past. Some of them are hanging on in the far future. But you need to enjoy these benefits today. And that is the essence of this podcast. How do you bring your future to today? And how do you come out of your past into your today, so that you can proactively control, measure, and manage your benefits? Your past can create tension and stress to your business. Your far future can deny you of these today's benefits. Therefore, grab this and understand this episode very well, that as you own your business, so you will be able to move with an advantage. You need your story formula. This story formula, we have discussed about it in the past episode. You can go to my website and download it for free. Because you need this story formula to be able to determine and define that your unique number, your unique value, and your value proposition. That message that you need to share with your customer clearly in such a way that your customer will not perceive you wrongly. Because the moment you are perceived in a wrong way, even if you have the best products and the best strategy, it is difficult to bring them back. But today, take a hold of this advantage. You need a story formula. You also need the integration formula for your management and for your marketing so that you can own it and not discount it. You can use it to measure. You can use it to market. You can use it to manage your business. You can use it also to control on daily basis those factors. The moments of interactions, the chance, and the customer experience, they can all be measured and controlled. As I've told you, you also need to understand how this can be prioritized. You need to understand your number one goal, understand your number one factor, and your number one parameter to drive on each day, so that there will be trust. There will be a sort of parent consistency that exists, that is transparent to your stakeholders and your customers and your employees. When you can effectively manage your sales, then you can close your sales gap in such a way that from end to end customer journey, you have an advantage. And your customers are well informed. They have a clear understanding of what you offer. They know what your business is all about. They know that you are taking them from one step to the other until they attain the highest version of their life, destiny, and business. This will help you to define your legacy wealth, to help you to create your content and programs. And for those that are starting, it will help you to define your ideas. Determine it in such a way that the internal transformation can be converted into external transformation, such that on daily basis you can harvest your transformational benefits. Therefore today, time will not permit me really to explain to you how integration strategy is used to evaluate and assess your revenue, your retention, your returns. But with time, as this podcast continues, as you continue to support and listen, I will be able to bring these lessons and teachings to you so that you can have that advantage over your competition and your competitors. In today's episode, I would like you to go home with these benefits, that you clearly understand how your sales gap is defined. In terms of trust, in terms of time, in terms of the task, in terms of target, and in terms of the transformational benefits. Once it is well defined, you will also be able to understand the perception, the interaction, and the behavior of your customers. Their sentiments at each time. You will be able to know which channel they have prioritized to gain entrance into your business. You will be able to understand their needs, their requirements, and their expectations so that you can fully engage and be able to feed them, entertain them with the right content and message. You are going home with the understanding on how this gap is measured with the help of integration technology. Since you need to be technologically savvy so that you can always be ahead of your customer, so that you can take them along their value ladder chain. If you are able to measure this gap, then you will be able to manage it. That is good. And that is key. Because a lot of businesses have failed because of poor requirement management. This should not be you. Haven't heard the sound of my voice? Haven't heard about this podcast? No. You must run with an advantage. You must advance with an advantage. You must move with these transformational daily benefits. We are talking about closing the gap. Go home with a clear understanding that you can close this gap. And once it is closed, there will be a free flow of cash, free flow of customers, where the performance and services you offer are seamless and frictionless. Close the gap to increase your revenue. Close this sales gap to increase your customer experience. Close the gap for a higher returns on your investment. Close the gap to understand how to take care of the risk and the reliability of your technology. I'm here with you all the way. Let's go for it. Let the business owners, the service professionals, and the entrepreneurs understand that there is a need for customer service prioritization. It is not just the marketing and then the sales alone. Customer service has been neglected and brought down to the background long enough. And they are the face, the integrator. Between the system, the business system, and the customers. They are the validators. They are the one that will offer you the testimonials. They are the one that will tell you that you've closed the gap or not. But don't give them the opportunity to perceive you wrongly, even when you have all that it takes. You have quality products, quality services, yet no sales. No. Let's close the gap. Let's close this sales gap for increase, for a sustainable development of the economy. Let's close the gap for a competitive advantage. Let's close the gap for high-ticket customers. At this juncture, I would like to inform you that if you take these benefits home, do your homework. Make sure you have your unique value proposition. Share it. By maximizing your returns and minimizing the sales gap. The system works perfectly. If you work the system will work for you on a daily basis. Don't be too far behind and don't be too far in the future. Be proactive. With the help of your story formula and with the help of your integration strategy. You can download this podcast free. Download this formula free. Download the system free from my website www.integratedconsulting.org or contact me directly www.calendly.com/info5integrated. with these daily benefits, with these transformational benefits, I encourage you on daily basis to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. At this juncture, I would like to say, do your homework. Close your sales gap. And if you have further questions, submit your questions and they will be answered appropriately and as soon as possible. I want to close by saying you deserve to own your story. You deserve to share your message. You deserve your marketing strategy. You deserve to know how to manage your business. Thank you, and I expect to see you again this time next week. Remain blessed.